Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk just a little bit today about brand new families and how they affect your school. I'm super excited to have you here and super excited to talk to you about this topic because it's huge right now. Right now is the beginning of the school year. And I love this time because the rebel in me says we're not going back to school. So all the rest of you out there might be going back to school, but we are coming back home. And I love that. I also love the fact that I usually don't start my school year the same time as the public school starts. It's kind of a bit of me saying, too bad, so sad, we're going to stay home and play. So we do play for a couple of weeks and then we get down to business. So our public school system here where I live has been going for about 3 weeks now. And we are about ready to start Commonwealth this Wednesday. So today's Monday, we have 2 more days and we are going to be back to school in our form of family school that we have. So let's talk a little bit about new families because most all of you probably have new families in your school this year. Some are going to have just 1 or 2, some are going to have a huge turnover. And I'll tell you what, my turnover in our school this year is actually really large. It's 1/3 of the families almost are brand new this year. That is not normal and it can be detrimental. But the reason why we have that going on right now is actually super exciting. It's actually a victory. And we'll talk about that another time in another video. But for right now, let's talk about these new families and how we can help them get connected. Because I'll tell you what, when I walk into my school, these are my peeps. I love these women and they love me, and it's a great, great community that we've created with a very specific culture. And having 1/3 of your families be brand new can really rock your culture. So what do we do to welcome in the new families and also to hold on to our culture at the same time? Let's talk about 3 different things. Let's talk about learning about the new families. We're going to talk about creating opportunities to bond as a community. And we're going to talk about really seeing the new moms for who they are and having them feel loved and accepted for who they are. Okay? So first, let's go to learning about the new families. There's a couple of things that we can do here to really help facilitate everyone starting to understand these new families. Have your parent representative meet with the new family, or at least with the new mom. And that can be done over Skype, or it can be in person at their home. It can be done over lunch or a play date or a park date. It doesn't really matter how, as long as you get a chance to make that personal connection. Make sure that that mom is going to feel like she already has a friend when she walks into school for the first day. And it's also a great way for, if it's the parent rep or somebody else on the board who goes and reaches out and makes that connection, they come back to the board meeting and they can share a little bit about the family with the entire board. So the board will be able, the other board members will be able to connect. It's a great opportunity also to take a look at what her needs are and what her strengths are and how she's going to fit into that puzzle that is your community. Okay, the second thing that you can do that I recommend is that you use whatever method of communication you use, whether it's Yahoo group or a Facebook group or whatever, Yahoo email list. I don't know, that's a little bit, that might be outdated. But whatever it is, if you could post a getting to know you post that has information about the new family on it, that will also help the other members of your community to connect with that mom. They'll know a little bit about that mom and that family before they even come to school. So I'm going to highly recommend that you go to the webpage that is linked below and download a little cheat sheet that I made for you that actually summarizes the things that we're talking about right now, and it also has a family survey on it that your parent rep can use to go ahead and collect information on the family and then share that on the Facebook group. So that new family is going to fill that out for you, and you can take it and tweak it and make it your own however you want, but it's just a good starting place for you to hopefully make things a little bit simpler. Okay, so we've talked about that first thing, which is learning about the new families and helping everybody else in the group learn about them. The second thing we're going to talk about is creating opportunities for that new family to bond into the community, right? So our community is like a tribe. those other women that are in the community with me are a lot like my sisters. And those students are a lot like my kids' cousins. They really relate to each other. They see each other as not only individuals, but also as a part of this unit called a family, which is so fantastic that we get to do school in this homeschool group as a family unit, really. So it's a great tribal effect that we have. You know, these women, it's not like I have to love them, like I have to love my sisters. Love you both. Actually, I have several because I count my in-laws as sisters as well. But these women, they get me. They understand where I'm coming from. They understand my goals. They understand my struggles. They forgive me when I need to be forgiven, which is, you know, all the time. And when I make mistakes, I feel supported enough in this group that I'm willing to get up, ask for forgiveness, and keep moving forward and keep trying my best. So for all of us that are in this kind of a community, you felt this and you know how valuable this can be. So we really want these new moms to be able to bond into this community as quickly as possible, for the reason that, number one, we don't want them to feel like those of us who already know each other have this elite group and they're standing on the outside of that group. That is not what we want. We want them to feel a part of it. Our whole reason for existing on the highest level really is to support and strengthen those moms. And we can't do that if they feel like they're on the outside looking in. So you really want to pull them in as quickly as possible. Okay, so a couple of things we've done in the past. Number one, actually this was brand new this year, but I know a lot of groups do this, so I'm going to share this with all of you. We held a Commonwealth, our homeschool group is called Commonwealth School, and we held a Commonwealth camping trip for all the families a few weeks before school started. Actually, it was the weekend after public school started, so it was kind of our celebration of not back to school. All the new families ended up coming, which was fabulous, fabulous. And this was a huge opportunity for all the families to see each other in a really natural setting, you know, and also to see each other as family units and to have the dads there and to have the dads meeting other dads. It was really a beautiful opportunity. Number two, hold a mom's class during campus hours. Okay, it's a great time when they're reading and discussing things together. It's a great time to bond and see how you fit into the community. So it's a great opportunity. Number three, hold a book discussion group once a month in the evening in somebody's home that the couples are invited to. So both the new dad and the new mom, as well as all the old new dads and new moms. It's like a date night, and you can have refreshments and then have this great learning opportunity. I would generally suggest that you focus the books on your educational philosophy and homeschooling in general, parenting, but they can be fiction for sure. There's like a ton of fiction books out there that apply to those things, as well as nonfiction books. So get the dads involved, make their favorite pie. That's the best way to get the dads involved, in my experience. Okay, let's move on. So seeing the new moms. I talk a lot about seeing people for who they really are and who they have the capacity to become. And when a person feels that you really see them for who they are and you still accept them, that connection is invaluable. And that really is a connection of love. So when we can do this for our new moms, sometimes they're going to end up getting support in our homeschool group or our new Commonwealth school that they're not going to get from their family, friends, and neighbors. So it's really important that we show them that kind of acceptance. Okay, so let's talk about how to do it. I've got two different ways that we're going to talk about today. Number one is when you randomly see them in the hall or in the classroom, it is your job to see them. It's your job to make a connection. Whatever you do, ask them how they're doing. Go over and talk to them. Ask them how they're doing. Is there anything that you can do to help them? Do they have any concerns or questions that you can answer? Do they want to join you at lunch so you can talk some more? Make that invitation. You need to go up to them and ask them. That is what is going to make them feel like They're being seen. I know you're busy. I know you have a ton of things to do. And when you see them, you're probably on the way from point A to point B to get something done. But you can still make that connection very quickly and ask them how they're doing. And then set up a time in the future when you can sit down with them. Okay, so whether it's at lunch or whether it's a call later, whatever it is that works for both of you at the same time, and then you can move on and continue to point B, which is where you were headed, right? Okay, number 2, do not. Now I know this is connected, but it's very, very important. It's so important that I made it a separate piece. Don't ever walk past them in the hall without making some sort of acknowledgement. Okay, you've got to make that acknowledgement. It can be a wave and a hi, like even from down the hall. Hi, how are you doing? You know, or just like hi. And oh, I know that's my personality coming out for sure. But it can be anything. If you're walking past them, it's a touch on the shoulder, a smile, even direct eye contact. Like even if you're busy talking to somebody else, that is no excuse why you can't make eye contact and smile for a second and then go back to what you're doing. Okay, so pull those new moms in. It is so important. And I'll tell you what, if you don't work really hard to teach them your educational philosophy and pull them into your culture, if you have a group this large of new mothers where it is a third of your school is going to be brand new this year, you can literally tip over I know I see it like a skyscraper, but you can tip over your tribal community and it can fall flat on its face and the damage can take a couple of years to repair. So please, when I talk about this, know that this is from the heart. I want you to keep your culture the way it is. You know, we'll talk about it more in another video, but make sure also that you have those things written down. The things that are important to you in your school, make sure that they're written, okay? And we'll talk about what to do with that in an upcoming video during this month for sure, okay? So great, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a fantastic first day of your homeschool group.